Okay, well, we'll move on with the engineer's report.
Good afternoon.
Hey, man.
Under new business, we have one item, our monthly project update. And under that, we do have two project agreements for you to approve tonight. Those are for the HRRR safety projects that we were awarded. This is for the fiscal year 20 projects. Just to remind you, we were awarded fiscal year 19 projects, and we're actually have a contractor that's already finished up, just accept some punch list work on those. These agreements tonight are for the fiscal year 20 projects that will be let in September by the ALDOT, during the ALDOT September letting. And then we're also applying for some fiscal year 21 HRRR projects as well. So, but we do have those two agreements tonight. They were not individually under current business on your agenda before. They've been in your project update, but it was not on their last meeting, so I think that'll probably require a suspension of the rules for that. And then under current business, we have two, under personnel, we have two resignations in your agenda package. And so we're also requesting to begin advertising to fill those two vacancies. So that'll be three vacancies that we still have and we're still trying to fill. That'll be a mechanic, a full-time operator, and the litter crew supervisor that we're looking for right now.
Jim,
Yes.
Russ, I want to ask you, why do we have so much turnover in your department?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's been pretty stable lately. One of these employees got a job somewhere else, and the other one had to go home to take care of a terminally ill family member, I think. So I don't know. Under those, that's the explanation for those two. But otherwise, we've been fairly stable in the last year or two. Okay. Then under the industrial access projects, that would be Rebuild Alabama projects, I'm sorry. We do have an award recommendation that we handed out tonight to you. This is a separate memo that's not in your agenda package. We did open bids for the resurfacing project on County Road 7707 from 7718 up to 7702 in China Grove. And just as a reminder, this is the project we were awarded the Rebuild Alabama grant for, and then the balance of that project of the required funds will come from the Federal Aid Exchange Fund. And you've already approved that in your CDP for next year. So we did get a low bid of $631,250.04, and that's roughly around $19,000 less than under budget. So that's good news. So we're recommending an award there, and we hope to begin construction on that project in October. And I think the only other thing that we have specifically to point out tonight is we also opened bids for the mowing contract. Our existing mowing contract was extended for the maximum period under Alabama law, so we had to rebid that. And we've got only one bid from the same contractor that's been working for us, and our bid was $200 a mile. So that falls within our budget, so we recommend awarding that one as well. That one's in your agenda package. believe that's all we have.
Questions for the engineer? Yes, sir.
Where we at on getting to, have you had any conversations lately with the work release and get our inmates back?
No, I don't think they know exactly yet when they're going to be able to offer their services again.
I know that sometimes their buildings in balance with a mixed. I know with ours, they're really still isolated. And I don't know if we've had that conversation with them, if it's just a blanket policy they have and there's nothing we can do about it. But,
Yeah, I mean, my understanding was that it just wasn't possible to get them, but, I mean, we can check again and follow up with them sometime pretty soon.
I know we're about to start mowing.
Right.
when it dries up.
Coming up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I know last year we made a real press, at least on some of these major collectors, to get out in front of the mowers.
That's right.
Okay, anybody else?
On the H-R, is that all gonna be, guardrail work on bridges for 2021?
For
The
the,
H-R stuff, is that,
no, I had to think, there's, the ones that you're approving tonight, the agreements you're approving tonight are for both guardrail, and some, striping, edge lines and raised pavement markers.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you both.
Thanks.
EMA,
I don't have anything for myself.
any questions for EMA? Okay, any commissioner have a report at this time?
No more than I went to the meeting Thursday, and it was informal. It was 44 counties showed up, and this virus is going around. Everybody was spread around. We got everything situated for 21.
Good, thank you for going. Anybody else? Okay, administrator?
Okay, the first item I have, there's a letter in front of each of you that we just got in like this afternoon from Troy Bank and Trust. And it's some loan commitments where we had gone and talked to them about the jail construction project, and then 2 road projects that are going to be reimbursed through industrial access money, or actually a CDBG and EDA grant funds, and then the other is an industrial access project. So this letter, though, it outlines what the rates would be. We've gotten some pretty good rates on the jail construction loan. During the construction phase, it would be a 3% interest rate, and then after 24 months, it would convert to a 3.625 interest rate, which is really good for the amount of money that it'll take to build the jail. The second loan will be the industrial access project at Rex Lumber, which is actually, this one is the CDBG EDA funds on that road. It's for $1 million, just so it's more of a cash flow issue as to why we're having to do it as a 12-month, which we don't expect it to take 12 months to get it repaid, but the rate on that is a 3% loan. And the third item is, the third loan is on the industrial access funds. This will be a cash flow thing for why we're having to do this. For universal precast, will be for the work through, the funds we're getting through industrial access. This is the commitment letter. I will need you to take action on this for, at the meeting, which this is up under current business. We've been talking about these 3 loans over the past couple of meetings. So it would just be committing to doing these funds, these borrowings through Troy Bank and Trust.
I have a question.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
On the Troy Bank and Trust loan for the jail crossing, is we gonna appoint a board to do that? Because before we approve this,
No, sir. We have talked with a bond attorney. We had not talked to a bond attorney. We had discussed in the meetings that we needed to talk to somebody that had a little more knowledge, and Alan wanted to reach out to a bond attorney. And after talking to him, we will not have to do a board.
So we can borrow more money
Because
than,
there's
paying
a
lot.
direct line of stream of revenue that will pay this off, and it won't be coming out of any of your general funds, it's coming straight out of the jail tax. We do not have to create one of those boards or appoint those boards, we can do it directly through us without having any problems with how the law is written. So that was a big plus to not have to do that, that way everything will come through y'all, be approved through y'all without having to go to another board, a building authority or anything to get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
So
That's a lot
that
better.
was a good thing once we learned that after talking to the bond attorney.
Okay.
So that way y'all can do all the approval and moving forward on that without having to go anywhere else.
Good.
I don't have any more questions on that, on the commitment letter? Good. The second item under current business is, it's a resolution for the loan number 2 that's listed. No, it's gonna be loan number 3. Let me make sure I clean that. Yeah, be the loan number 3 that's listed in the commitment letter. And it's just a borrowing resolution, that way we can go ahead and move forward with that, with getting the funds available so that, Russell can move forward with getting that work done on those roads. Item number 3 is gonna have to do with loan number 2 that's, listed in the commitment letter from Shore Bank Trust, and the same reason, so that we can go ahead and move forward. We will not be doing a resolution or anything right now at this time on the jail funds, because we're not ready to do any of that. That'll come probably within the next few months, 6 or 7 months, that we'll move forward on that. That'll be a much bigger project and undertaking, just like we normally would with a warrant. We have the big bond paper and the bond council having to go through and create all those documents that we need for that, and we're not ready to do that quite yet. Let's see. Alan, as you can see, is out tonight. He is still trying to get the credit card acceptance resolution done. He's actually was going to be reaching out to our auditor, or the audit manager for this area, to make sure we're getting that done just like it needs to be done according to the law, to make them, to get it right for everybody. So he's still working on that. He also asked me to let you know on the vacation of the portion of 1159, he is still waiting on the response that he has sent out asking for a petition on. So he doesn't have that yet, so we're still waiting on them to get that information in before we can move forward on that. The item number 13, the lounge retail liquor class 1 request. They have completed everything they have to do with the county. They have provided a copy of the publication, the notarized copy where it has been run in the paper, and they've met the amount of days that we have to hold it, so it can have action taken on it tonight if you so choose.
Are you ready? Chad?
We're talking.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay. And then, the RC&D grant, we have sent in a letter requesting that, and we're just waiting on a response from them at this time.
Okay, we're really just gonna hold back
Yes.
until we hear back from RCB on that.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
We got any questions for our administrator? Okay, thank you, Mackenzie. Commissioner Boone, probate judge Boone. My bad.
I'm gonna let you guys have a lot of fun. I emailed a copy today to Mackenzie and Alan, and I've got a copy with me for y'all to take a look at. The Secretary of State's office has been asking us to transition to electronic poll books for quite some time. They have come up with a way to pay for the majority of the cost. And in fact, I was checking my email. I received an email from David Brewer, who's the Secretary of State's Chief of Staff, and we've been approved for the electronic poll book reimbursement. And what that means is we're going to be able to purchase 48 poll books and some equipment that goes with them at a cost of $56,290, and we're going to receive a full reimbursement for that, so it won't be any cost to the county.
Good.
What we will need to talk about is there's an ongoing like everything else, there's a maintenance agreement that has to be entered into between the county and, the vendor that we've spoken with and approved is ES&S, which is our election vendor. They have, in my opinion, I've seen two of the three systems that are available. I think that their system is gonna be a long-term better solution for us, and we already have their people come in every election and work with us. So there'll be no learning curve for them to be able to help us if we have a poll pad issue. But there'll be like I said, there's gonna be a yearly contract. The first year is included as part of the money that'll be reimbursed. So starting year 2 through on, it's per unit, but it'll work out to $6,000 a year. I think that that's something that probably we just need to include into my budget, which we'll discuss later. But like I said, I included a copy of the quote along with a copy of the contract to McKinsey. So if any of y'all want to look at all of that, she's got access to it and she can send it right to you. Obviously, the benefit to electronic poll books is it's going to give our poll workers a little bit of help taking in that information from the voters and then give us a little bit faster way to transmit it to the Secretary of State's office, make sure that voter credit's properly handled with the registrar's office. Our intent is to deploy paper and electronic, at least the first go around, because it is going to be a learning curve for our poll workers. But at the end of the day, I think it'll end up being a net positive for us. This is one of those few opportunities where the equipment was just way more expensive than what I was willing to spend and ask you to spend. But since there's money out there to take, we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we've been approved for it, and so we want to make sure that we get that handled. But I wanted to see what kind of questions you guys had, just in general. I think that the next meeting's the 15th, so we have time. 15th September. 14th. Okay. So we should actually have. We may have the money by then, but we certainly can wait to sign the contract to give you guys time to read it. Are there any questions in general about the equipment? I'm sorry I couldn't bring one with me today, but the units that they're using as demos are moving around the counties right now. There's about 30 counties that are in the same boat we are.
Anybody got any questions?
Jerry, yes, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
The poll workers that we got now, you think a lot of them are gonna be, know how to, they're older people and they're not used to this electronic stuff. You think they're gonna be able to do it?
I do. I do. Yeah, there was
because a lot of them is afraid of this electronic stuff. So.
Sure, and I can understand that. That there was some concern on my part that some of our older poll workers might have some issues. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we deploy every poll with an iPad that has the voter list on it. They've been able to use that to help people make sure they're where they're supposed to be. This is going to work very much the same way. It's a little bit better technology, I think, than what the competitor for this unit is using, because the other one basically just uses an iPad. And this one uses a Microsoft Surface tablet with some other equipment inside the casing. Rather than using the camera to try to look at the driver's license to figure out, because it can read the barcode off your driver's license, and then it puts the information in. So as long as you got that form of ID with that readable, they won't have to do anything except take that driver's license. This one has the barcode scanner, so it's a lot faster. When they put it up under there, their information is going to come up. So I think they will be able to handle it. There was a time when I would be much more concerned, but most of us have a grandparent or a parent somewhere that's on an iPad or some type of tablet now anyway. It's kind of like kids. They've learned how to use the phones, and the older folks have learned how to use the bigger devices.
I'm talking about my age, going back to my age.
Well, we didn't want to get into that. Now, I think they'll be able to handle it. It's set up so that they're not gonna accidentally go outside of those screens.
Okay.
And there may be some hiccups to begin with. That's again why we're gonna make sure that, the pole pads are out there along with the paper. We have some extras in case some of them fail. And the equipment, in places where we have more than one pad available for people to use, the equipment's set up so that it'll talk to each other. So if John Doe comes in to First Baptist Church and signs in using the poll pad, the other poll pad knows. So if he comes back in later and tries to use the other poll pad to vote again, it's not gonna let him. Or somebody's already come in and voted using that driver's license, it's not gonna let him revote, just like a paper list would be that verification. But it has some benefits. Obviously, technology is technology. Pieces of paper don't break down, but by the same token, they do take longer for voter credit to be given. The registrar's office in Very Blessed take all that information and make sure that they've got everything they need. And this will help speed up that process because they have to be able to start reporting by noon the next day. So this is just the next step coming.
Based on that, they would have, any other ID that they could use, like been using now? Like the social security card or?
Oh, well, no, the ID won't,
Pick up that.
yeah, the ID won't be an issue specifically because that's just the fast way. If you've got your ID with the barcode, you scan it, it's done. If you don't have an ID that has that information, but it's a form of ID that's usable at the polls, they'll still be able to find you in the system.
Okay.
They'll just have to do a little poking and prodding of the machine. It's not gonna, these are not going to make it harder for somebody to vote. Hopefully they'll be able to make it easier, move the process along faster, which is certainly something that we're gonna need for the general and moving forward as things change in the voting world. So I think it's gonna be a net benefit for our county. Any other questions about any equipment or any of what it does or?
Go ahead,
Talk
Sid.
A little bit about what I was gonna ask was, training for your poll workers, you got enough time, and I'm assuming that this company's gonna come in and do some training with them, and
Yeah, they're gonna work with us. ES&S is, like I said, they're the people that we already contract with. They lease us our voting machines. They work very closely with, Secretary of State's office, making sure we've got everything we need. One of the biggest reasons, outside of just the equipment being what I think is a better piece of equipment, there's not a time I can't pick up the phone and get somebody on the phone at ES&S. They answer my call, they answer my text, and they're already gonna be there, because we're already using them as a vendor on election day. So they're already familiar with this equipment. They'll be able to
somebody in Pike County.
Yeah, we've been utilizing somebody with them, either directly hired by them or a contractor has previously worked for them to help us on election day. So they'll be able to work the equipment, it won't be a problem.
Okay. Anything else?
All right.
Personnel?
As far as personnel, we have not made a decision yet, although I think that at the time that we had initially published, we were all still coming out of the shutdown. I think it'd be best, and I'm gonna get with McKinsey, we're still within our 6 months. We're gonna go ahead and re-advertise for another couple of weeks. I haven't gotten with her on the date yet, but I think that would just be best so that we have a good enough pool. Certainly some of those people that have applied have taken a job somewhere else by now. So we wanna make sure we have the best applicants available.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Anything else need to come before the commission during the work session?